Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Logical, Plausible, Probable. I'm your host, John Maddox, and tonight we're having another stream you just won't want to miss. If you got what it takes, click that link. But prepare yourself, for this arena is not for the weak. Now, let the mental combat begin. But always make sure your arguments are LPP.
What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you all coming over here from Standing for Truth from another interesting debate over there on the epic conversation of kind of is there evidence for evolution? Is creation more tenable? Which one is more plausible? It's always fun. They always turn into dumpster fires, and I just couldn't resist hosting an after show, kind of impromptu. Jackson Rowe was giving me grief about not getting one when he debated Kent Hovind, and I had some stuff going on, so I had to rise to the occasion and have a debate after show since I've kind of been out of the game for the last month and a half. So figure I'd get back in here and we'll have some fun. Got some people backstage, so it should be a good one. If you want to join the after show, link is pinned in the side chat up at the top. You got no excuse. Click it, get on in here in the backstage, and then we will do get the conversation started. I'm sure it'll be interesting, and who knows how late we will go. It's good to see some of the regulars. We got Ray, we got Keith, we got Greeny, Alec Cox is in the house. Looks like Jackson Rose joined over as well. Got some new people. The ones here, Heather Brown. How y'all doing? Faithful, Honest, and True. Redefine Living, man. A bunch of folks are over here. Appreciate y'all joining us. And for those of you who were commenting in the side chat about liking the merch, there's actually a link in the description if you want to go over there. And there's actually also a discount code. If you use the code LPP20, at least 20% off the ridiculous prices that Teespring charges. But make sure you head that over, check it out, see what you like. And I always appreciate folks for getting getting some of the merch and helping me cover all of the stupid fees that seem to add up if you do these kinds of things. But it's fun. I enjoy it. And also, last thing before we get into the after show conversation, recently started the whole membership thing. Hadn't been advertising it as much because I've been busy. But I am now back. It's 2022, and there's got a bunch of cool things are going to be happening on the channel. So folks who want to join the membership, I'd greatly appreciate you. We get a couple different tiers, which I'll share real quick. I got the Side Chat Brawler, the Evolution Destroyer, and the ID Gladiators, and prices range pretty good. And you've also got some pretty fun emojis that you get to use in the side chat, which is always fun. All right, enough of my rambling. It is now time to bring in all these folks that are in the backstage so we can get this conversation going. For people who it's the first time to an after show, here's how it works. We do kind of a round robin. The person who got in first gets to go first, share their thoughts, best one-liners, best comebacks, overall vibe of the debate. Talk for a minute and a half or so, and then we'll go on to the next person, kind of do a round robin as new people come in. And then once everybody that's in the chat will set a turn, then we will go into more back and forth dialogue conversation. And hopefully it'll turn into a good back and forth and potentially dumpster fire. You never know what might happen. Okay, Up first is Creo Debunk. What's up? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? And
Hi, thanks. Okay, I'm fine. It's a little bit late here in Germany, but it's okay. So I just cannot miss a stream where David Neff is participating with the Kevin Hovind. This should be very interesting for me. And actually, what I would say about the debate, well, David got a little bit nervous, but it can be understandable. And also, if you might, I would like now or later come to talk about some arguments what were in the debates, current or overall, or what I have seen with stream. And please tell, do I talk understandably, or it's hard to understand? What's...
Oh no, I can hear you just fine.
Because I am not English speaker and I'm not very convenient with using a microphone. I hope it's runs okay. So okay, it was everything for me now. Please, everybody else, make short intro.
Okay, so was there something you were wanting to say? Anything else, or were you ready to go on to the next person?
Okay, I would like to talk about some arguments what were on the debates. Can you talk now about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to tell us, like, kind of this first round, usually it's, was there anything specific about the debate that you like? What really stuck out to you? Keep it short and sweet, and then we'll move on to the next person. Then we can get back into more after everybody's had a turn. Then we'll get into more in-depth conversation.
Okay, so the part from Ken Hovind was actually without any changes. It was everything what he says in the moment. And David sort of lost some arguments. For example, with discussion of whales, he should point to the morphology similarities of whales and also evidence about whale evolution, including this paper, but I'm pretty sure you cannot discuss with Ken Hovind on that level. And also about the phylogeny signals, etc. So, and I know that creationists are not pleased with example of sort of evolution of viruses because sort of unicellular organism becomes unicellular. So this must be not. So it's better to use some examples on if you talk about that. That's all for now. Yes.
All right, appreciate it. And let's see. Up next, we got the rational empiricist. What's going on, man? How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. Go ahead and share your thoughts.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, John. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah. So well, it was a pretty heated debate tonight. So I probably have some strong opinions about it, but in general, I think I mostly agree with what Creo Debunk said. I think that I think that Kent's main arguments, haven't changed all that much. I do think David kind of lost his cool as the debate went on, and I think maybe that was part of Kent's attitude. Maybe that was part of the style that was going through how the arguments were unfolding, and maybe he did lose some arguments. I think definitely getting a heated towards the end there. But I think one of the interesting things I saw towards the end was when he asked Kent what would count as, I guess, evidence for evolution or something along those lines of what kind of changes would we expect to see. And I sort of feel like Kent dodged the question a little bit and kind of went off on a different topic, basically asked his same spiel again, but that's kind of what I took from it. Other than that, I think it was basically, I feel like David could have harpered more on the whole evolution is based on populations, not individuals birthing one to another kind of subject. Beyond that, I don't really have much else to say. We'll see where the night takes us.
All right, thank you. And looks like we lost Will. No what happened to him. Come on back if you want to get in the conversation. And folks, link to join the after show conversation is in the side chat. It's also pinned at the top. You got no excuses to not be in here airing your grievances, your thoughts, and your intuitions about where the night's going to go. So make sure you click that link, come on in, and get the conversation engaged. Ogre, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. It's been a while. How's everything going for you? What are your thoughts on the debate?
Things are going well. Nice to see some after shows. It's been a bit since I've been in one. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Creo and Rational over there. I'd give this to Kent, based solely on debate, how he debated, how he kept it. I didn't like the way Neff tried to say, "Well, you're not a real teacher," like that stuff, man. I was trying to go personal in that way. That wasn't a good move, and he was, I think, disheveled a bit. I would agree with that. Kent brought his usual bag of tricks. Neff had a debate strategy of trying to jog in his way through the conversation, and I don't really know if it landed too well. But still, it'd be fun to talk about the topics afterwards.
Right on. Yeah, I would agree that. Well, let's just say that the very weak attempted haymakers at the very end, in the last 4 sentences Neff spoke. I'm talking about all the way at the very end. That was just the embodiment of the course of the debate. he was trying to throw a haymaker to make up for the beating he was taking from a rhetoric perspective throughout the entire debate. It was pretty funny. Okay, up next we got Kevin's Biblical Discussions. What's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. What are your thoughts? What did you think was the best one-liner, comebacks? Who won? Who lost? What was going down in the epic Neff versus Hovind debate? What did you think?
All right. Well, thanks for having me, John. I think Kent Hovind won the debate. I was very annoyed listening to Neff. He had a lisp or something, and he was denying his own theory when Brother Hovind was trying to show him from the chart. You start out with single celled, and you get to this, you get to this, you get to this. It contradicts what he was saying, that, well, a dog will always bring a dog, or a horse is always going to have a horse. Yeah, but at some point, that had to have not been true. But he doesn't want to admit that. And it's very, very annoying that evolutionists keep ducking and dodging the fact that if you start out with one single cell thing, and then all of a sudden now we have all these billions of things, then somewhere along the lines, something had to produce something other than its kind. There's no way around it. But they don't want to admit that. And that's very, very annoying for me, and I can't stand when people are dishonest. So, be honest. If you're an evolutionist, admit, well, yeah, at some point in time it had to have happened, but we can't observe that. Okay, just be honest. It's not science. You believe it. So I brought up in the question answer, I said if either one of them were familiar with the Ashley phosphate fossil beds that were found in Carolina, that has human fossils with dinosaur fossils. They found human footprints with T-Rex bones, I think it was. And
what was that? I'm sorry to interrupt. What was that fossil bed again?
Ashley phosphate fossil bed found in Carolina. Yep. And and he's like, "Oh, I've never heard of that," or whatever. It's like, well, of course you haven't, right? It goes contrary to what you believe. Yeah, John. So I just subbed to the channel. I was weary in doing so. Nothing against you or anything, but I just sometimes don't appreciate the foul language that happens. And it's like, as Christians, we should have better etiquette than the Smoky Saints and stuff. And we should present ourselves as ambassadors for Christ and watch the language. But I love you, and I do appreciate what you do on this channel. So I did subscribe.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I don't think that it would be fair necessarily to put the language that happens on my channel in the same category as on the one you just mentioned. So, but I get what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying it's equally as bad, but I'm saying that we should hold ourselves to a higher standard.
No, that's fair. Each to their own in that context. But I don't think it's something you should be doing all the time. But I think in some cases there's utilization of different words, but that's neither here nor there. The Alec, what's up, man? Great to see you. How you doing?
John,
are you still in Now listen, are you still in California, or have you finally
God.
escaped? Like, what's going on? What's going on in the lockdown central of the madness, soon to be communist state of California?
Well, I was planning on the escape again, but the company I was with canceled my contract, so I'm kind of in limbo at the moment. And the funny part about California, I put it in the chat. There are restaurants now where if you wear a mask, they will kick you out because the mask is more dirty than somebody slobbering on the floor, which is true. So they're kicking people out for wearing masks. Is so awesome.
Okay, so on one side of the street, you can't get in if you don't have a mask. On the other side, they kick you out if you wear. If you wear one. That's well, I wonder what kind of a major deprecation of bar hopping that is starting to to cause. I mean, think about this, folks. Drunk people attempting to bar hop. You walk up to one like mask, and you're like, okay, and then the next one, no mask. You're like, what is it? What am I supposed to do? Of course, but then you have the problem like what's going down in Australia, where you can't stand up without a mask on. Like, I mean.
Well, it goes back
but then you have to go to what's happening, I think, in Great Britain, or United Kingdom, where as long as you still have beer in your glass, you don't have to wear one. But if it's empty, then you do. I mean, this really would make getting the next round very difficult. I mean, think about that, folks. What if you're trying to like your beer is still back on the table because you wanted to walk up and be able to buy another round for your buddies that are still at the table, and you wanted to have all your hands free. So now you don't have the necessary evidence to prove that you were allowed to not have. It's crazy, folks. It's crazy. Anyway, we will keep that for the late night portion of the discussion. Alec, what's up, man? Did you watch the debate? What'd you think? What are your thoughts? And share your words.
It was a flawless victory. It was a flawless victory once again. David Neff hasn't learned much. I think the first time I heard him was almost a year ago on SFT's channel, or a couple of channels. He was doing his circuit. And, I guess that one semester they had of Bio 101 just ignited him. Said, hey, I got the phylogenetic tree in my textbook. Oh, this is where it is. But then he went back on that, right? We're not connected. It was just, wait, time out. That's the whole reason for because it breaks the law of monophyly, right? So it doesn't. It's basically the whole situation, what he was trying to argue. He didn't even really know the argument. I think he got flustered just because of a couple answers. And then he started throwing some things around he shouldn't have in a debate, calling somebody out who basically has been preaching on this since the early 90s, right? So, 30 years, right? That alone, not even before he was a teacher, just take that away. Just the 30 years of going and debating, 270, professors will not debate this guy. They will not debate Kent Hovind. He said, what was that one guy? Oh, did you see that thing about PZ Myers?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where he said, oh, we'll have a video debate or something like that. It's just like, not actually at the same time. It'd be like almost like writing a letter back in the 1800s to your girlfriend across the pond, then waiting 3 weeks for the response. And then waiting 3 weeks for the other response. I don't know. PZ Myers is weird. He's getting older. Gosh, it doesn't look well. But anyway, that's what I got. California is California. It's going to stay that way. They're running it into the dirt. And trying to get the escape plan out of here. Then we'll go live with Kevin up there in New York. He lives upstate New York, so it's going to be too bad up there.
Well, I don't know. From what I've seen of New York's governor, oof, I don't know. But hey, she wears a mask necklace, or a vax necklace. So hey, whatever. Sean, what's going on? You're up next, man. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. What are your thoughts?
I would say that this debate was neither man's finest debate. There's a lot of talking past each other, dodging, and even mudslinging. Not the kind of debate that I enjoy watching, but still watched it anyways.
Well, those types of. Well, let's just say that part of the reason I agreed to do an after show was I knew that the probability of dumpster fire was high. I'm talking about in the debate itself. And since that's the case, then the probability of dumpster fire in the after show is also pretty good. Although I tell you what, the last couple after shows, I've gone into it, expecting some dumpster fire, and they just haven't happened. I mean, the after show has been good, but there hasn't been like as much, back and forth aggression. So we'll see what happens. But that's probably because I think Emery has been in all these, and Emery just tries to, like tone things down with, science and being all normal and placated. So, what's up, Emery? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. How you been? How's school? Are you getting close to being done with your with grad school? How's everything going?
I'm doing pretty well. Actually, this is the first after show I've joined in quite some time. So
I know I was being sarcastic about that
part. But no, I'm doing pretty well. Grad school got 2 semesters left. Praise the Lord. Didn't watch the debate, so I'm not even going to bother. I knew it was going to be a dumpster fire because that's just what happens, and I'm not much for debates anyway. But I'm definitely here to talk some science. I'll do that part. So.
See, what did I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? Emery definitely is going to be the catalyst to turn this after show into a dumpster fire. It's guaranteed. Although, I think the person who might be able to top him is up next, and that's Jackson Rowe, because Jackson is well known for his extraordinarily aggressive debate style. And I don't know if he's going to be able to contain himself in an after show. What's up, Jackson? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I was being facetious, by the way.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm very easygoing in the debates.
Yeah, so I saw you in the side chat during the debate. What were your thoughts overall? Give us your opinion. I saw you having some jabs and some CTAs going on in the side chat there. So share your thoughts.
Yeah, I expected him to do better. I don't know. I've never seen him debate before, but yeah, someone's telling me to calm down in the chats. Yeah, I know. I'm very animated, but debates get me that way. So yeah, he was just dodging the questions. That's what I couldn't get over. And they just seemed to really not like each other. That's the vibe I got. They were talking past each other. People kept saying that. Yeah, I mean, it was entertaining. I liked watching it, but not much substance really from my side that time.
Yeah, well, I would say that the stance of the debate was started with Neff using Kent's mugshot in the first slide in his opening statement. And it's like, okay, bro, if you're gonna go down that rabbit hole, then you deserve to be treated like the juvenile that you are. I mean, I hate to be too blunt about it, but it was
yeah, I thought
all the way through.
A flattering one.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, it was pretty much an ad hominem insult fest from Neff. And then what was really funny, and it really showed how immature and lacking in self-confidence he is, and he was trying to project so much, is like, and at the very, after insulting out the wazoo, he then's like, and I would really, if Mr. Hovind would be willing, I would love to debate him again on whatever topic was. And it's like, so you've just gone from insulting the fire out of him and calling him all these names and issuing insult after insult, and it's like, and then being like respectful. If Mr. Hovind, my senior, would be willing to debate me, so I'm like, okay, dude, like which hat are you wearing? The jackass or the the jerk, like, or the nice guy? Like, which one are you right now? It was I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah, the last 15 minutes, he seemed to calm down. Like, hey, I want to debate you again, but I don't know why.
Speaking of ad homs, you see how he brought up Kent Hovind getting money into his ministry? How he wanted to rub that in there.
Oh yeah. He
definitely has some he has some very wealthy benefactors. Okay, so it's which have been with him for the last 30 years.
Now you see what happened, gentlemen. I think where that Neff guy really got upset is because let's be real, he's very effeminate. Okay, Kent is a natural leader. He's obviously an alpha, like feminine, emasculated social justice warrior. Beta males easily get offended by men that act masculine the way we were created to be by our creator, and so men that act inferior like females get offended by masculinity, and that's what it was. Kent was just being himself, and the guy was like, ugh.
I'll just follow that comment by lifestyle has a lot to do with belief in evolution, because there's no
Right.
creator. There's no creator. So lifestyle that you choose, and that kind of promotes your modus operandi. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, I
Alec, if I
believe in
could
God
add to
and keep
that,
my lifestyle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. People aren't rejecting God because of science, okay? Because science points to the creator. People are rejecting God because they love their sin. They love darkness and hate the light because they don't want their deeds to be exposed. They don't want to be reproved of that. So people cling on to this imaginary theory that is not scientifically provable and say, oh, this has to be true because I don't want there to be a God, because if there is a God, he's in control. He's the creator. He's the judge. He makes the rules. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not. And they don't want that. So they hang on to this delusion. They call it science, but it's really a religion because you can't observe it. You can't demonstrate it. You can't prove it. It's not science. I don't even like calling it a theory. It's a religion.
It's an ongoing process, okay, Kevin? Leave it alone.
All right. So now I think
Yeah,
it's time for the rumble
David
in the
didn't
jungle
do
to
a
begin.
great job.
And Jackson in his usual style of understatements.
What? Oh yeah.
Sentinel
He didn't
Apologetics is
seem
in the
to
house.
be
What's
able to
up,
explain what
Rob?
monophily was.
Oh yeah, Rob's another one. Brainwashed
Hey, how are you?
evolutionist.
Yeah, about the monophily, it was actually found because viruses and eukaryotes split it very early. So talking that from virus may come multicellular organism is basically very false. And anyone who knows basics of evolution would hear that in that moment.
Yeah, if anybody saw a virus, it would be a good thing. You only see the effects of a virus. You don't see a virus. They've never seen one. And that's just the way it goes. The little tennis ball you see with the spikes, it's a mold spore. Just Google it. Go to Google right now, images of mold spores. And the electron microscope only sees in black and white. So they do have colored ones, but they can't see smaller, minute things and stuff to use black and white. And there you have it. They make up this little tennis ball with little things on the side of it and call it a virus. No, it's a mold spore. Just Google mold spores, images of mold spores, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
So you mean that viruses are not seen or viruses are not exist? Because the argument about it is similar.
Yeah,
So,
I googled this, Alec, and
yeah, it is not very valid to say that
lots
if
of
some
actual pictures of like SARS-CoV-2 and stuff. So I don't know where you're getting that opinion from.
What, the viruses? Yeah, that's all made up, dude. Don't believe what you see.
Well, but the
So do you mean that viruses do not exist, or what?
No, a virus is inorganic. Okay, so it's morphed from when we started having computer viruses.
Wait, what do you
They think it's
understand
like a
about
computer virus.
inorganic or organic?
Yeah,
Do you know?
a virus is
Maybe not
inorganic.
technically
It's like a entry into the system by a foreign
Okay,
object.
wait. Please define what exactly is inorganic. You mean it is inorganic
It's not
chemical?
living.
What?
No, it's not a
What is
living
organic?
on that side.
Okay, so organic and living are two different things, because
right.
if you have some protein, it's not living, but
Right.
it is organic. So what do you mean?
Well, that's what I mean. It's not
Hey,
a
Tangelo.
living. It's not
Hi,
a
guys.
virus is not a living like a cell
virus
or
is
a
not living.
bacteria or anything.
We'll
It's
we'll
not
fine
living.
with that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the basis of it is it's something that's introduced to the body whether by manipulation in a lab, how they're covering up this whole vid thing, the Wuhan deal and all this stuff. I mean, they've been trying to weaponize, for biological warfare for a very, very long time. And now they're using on the public, which, that was always the thing that, cull the population. We want the population down. We don't want, they started with this thing in Africa with the AIDS thing, turned out to be basically the majority of the people in the United States were.
Can I
So,
say, please, it is a little bit
let's focus
unrelated.
up,
Can
Alec.
we turn to the topic what viruses is, because
Yeah,
usage is unrelated.
it's very much the so when computers came around for the home and people started breaking into other people's computers, or you got a virus sent to you by whether it was email or some other type of a website you went to or something like that. You click on the button and you get a virus. Well, that's not technically how a virus in the human body is. Okay, it's technically introduced into the body either by injection, or it's done by, it can be done by consumption or, ingestion into the body by the mouth. And then you don't have your immune system up to par. And, then it takes over as something that could cause pneumonia, or it could cause, what we've called the flu forever, influenza. And some people can't handle that, because the majority of people that died of HIV died of pneumonia, which was caused by huffing nitrous oxide as part of their sexual rituals in the homosexual community.
What is going on right now? What? HIV isn't killing people now either? Dude, I'm posting pictures of viruses in the live chat. Like actual pictures. It's not that hard to take a picture of a virus.
Yeah, that's fine. You can post those, but nobody has seen a virus. You see the effects of a virus on
the pictures of the viruses, like the actual things, like the physical
Where
objects.
is it? It's on the,
I posted a bunch of the live chat. I keep posting them if you want. People take electron microscopes and do these things. Viruses are so small we can't see them.
No, they aren't. It's been like that forever.
The pictures are in the chat. Go look at them. That's
that
what electron
microscopes
do. They take pictures of tiny
also
things.
he thinks that viruses are...
How are you seeing pictures in the chat?
What?
I can't see any pictures.
Okay, I'll post them again for you.
I'm on StreamYard.
Oh, you're not in the public chat?
No, I can switch over there real quick. Have a look.
I can do both. All right, let me go. I'm scrolling through finding other different viruses. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
John, I'm curious. What are your thoughts on viruses, John?
I mean, I think viruses they exist. I don't really have much problem with the concept of the virus. Whether or not they're...
No, I mean, do you
personally think the majority of them
are they actually
good.
huffing nitrogen?
No,
that was the cause of the pneumonia that caused.
I don't think that viruses. I don't think it was the assertion was ever made that viruses
it's
are
nitrous oxide, by the way, not just nitrogen.
Totally different. I'm not really sure what's the question. What was the question? Sorry. I was reading side chat when you guys were.
I agree, viruses exist, but I don't think they're actually alive. They're not living organisms.
Well, no. I mean, I don't think
that wasn't the statement. The statement. Alex says you've never taken a picture of an actual virus, and all the pictures are actually what'd you say, mold cells, I believe, right?
Yeah. Did you look at the mold?
Yeah, and the pictures I posted in the side chat and the public chat are pictures of H1N1 and the SARS-CoV-2 virus taken on.
Okay, and also, I want to illustrate that this is a logical mistake. The reason that some viruses may look similar to the mold cells does not necessarily leads to conclusions that photos from the viruses are false.
You can believe what you want, bud. That's fine.
I do not believe in what I want. Maybe some other in this.
I don't know how to take this conversation. Alex is saying we're wrong because so.
Well, the interesting thing about viruses is that you need actually viruses for life to exist. So there is an interdependence. There would be no life without viruses. And that, of course, raises the question, how they came to exist, because they require life to exist. So life requires viruses to exist, but viruses require also life to exist. So they had to merge together.
Yeah, I don't know. I still can't see any pictures, even when I went over to the other thing.
So I'm on my phone because I'm not currently home. But the pictures in the live chat, are these pictures of viruses from under a microscope?
Yeah, I'll post them in the YouTube chat, and they're in the side chat for StreamYard. There are two pages of pictures from the CDC of viruses under electron microscopy. So I just Googled real photo of a virus, and they popped right up.
Yeah, of course. That's. I mean, you believe the CDC with Fauci?
They want you to think.
Yeah, I mean,
well, Alec,
how else am I supposed to show you pictures of viruses? I show you pictures of viruses, you tell me they're wrong because, like, am I supposed to go?
May I ask?
So if I take a cell, a human cell, and I put a chemical into that cell, okay, and it promotes some sort of an anomaly with that cell that can now regenerate and cause problems inside a human's immune system. Biological warfare is exactly what that is. It's like, is anthrax a virus?
I think bacteria or something. I don't know what anthrax is actually.
Yeah, it's more of a bacteria, but
I think it's a virus.
Yeah, it's a bacteria. Yes,
Is it a
but yes, thank you. But the the viruses that they're calling virus. Okay, so we came from influenza.
Oh God, don't Google that.
Yeah, which in the Spanish flu turned out to be tuberculosis. So it's it's one of those things where they call it the flu, but it wasn't a flu, it was tuberculosis. And it was injected to a lot of our World War I infantry as part of their inoculations. And they, military has to take the vax, and things like that. The court's still working on that. But when you went into Vietnam, say, everybody had to be vaccinated for whatever it might have been that they need to be vaccinated for. They just,
yeah, man. Simple searches are showing you wrong and all of that. Like I posted in the public link a picture of the H1N1 virus that caused the Spanish flu. Like they have pictures of it. Like
yeah. Well,
we're going against doctors for 100 years of medical research.
Come on,
disagreeing with you here.
You can't see a virus. I'm just telling you.
There's a picture. I posted it.
You're seeing a basically
okay, guys.
a NASA picture of
gentlemen.
Going in a circle.
Guys, we're gonna stop. Listen, gentlemen, we're gonna stop arguing over whether or not viruses do or do not exist, or we have pictures of them. Okay.
No.
Okay. However, we are gonna figure out. We do need to figure out where the heck this echo is coming from. It's driving me up the wall. So everybody, mute yourselves.
I think it might be me. Hang on.
Now, everybody, go on mute. Okay. Creo, unmute yourself, please.
Okay.
All right. Are we hearing any kind of echo?
Okay.
We are not hearing an echo. Okay. Remute yourself, Ogre. All right. Are we hearing any kind of echo now that Ogre's mic is active? Nope. We're good. Okay. Remute Jackson. All right. Say something back to me. Are we hearing anything?
Hey.
Yep. I'm not sure if we're hearing an echo. I think. Nope. Yeah, we're hearing you, but you're good. Okay. Go back on mute. Alec.
I'm here. Hear anything?
Right. Are we getting an echo? Okay, where in the heck is this echo coming from? All right, mute. Kevin?
I'm still here, John.
All right, are we... I swear if we better... No, keep your mic unmuted. We're trying to figure out who has the echo, where it's coming from.
I've been muted the whole time they were talking, so it couldn't have been me.
Okay, so it wasn't you. And this was happening before Otangelo came in, but Otangelo, unmute yourself real quick. Otangelo. Hey, so sidebar as a test. Did you get to see my interview with Dr. Gart, Otangelo?
A little bit.
All right. Well, okay. Well, I don't know where the echo's gone. Hopefully it will have cured itself. Okay, let's continue the conversation. But I think...
John, I have a question for you that's not related to evolution or anything.
Sure.
Would you be interested in joining me sometime for a Bible study on my channel?
Potentially. Like, how long do you guys normally do them?
I've been trying to do them once a day now. I usually go for about 2 hours. I started in John. I think I'm in John 15. I got up to 15 today.
Oh, nice. Yeah, but it's definitely something I'm open to trying out. I've got my schedule has been absolutely freaking insane this past 2 months.
So I'm trying to get my channel going. I've been putting up videos. I've started a joint channel with Graham Gould and Nicholas Proclaimer of Messiah. It's called Best Bible Study Channel, and we're all going to be putting in just doing really in-depth Bible studies on that channel. So if you guys want to check that out. If anyone's interested in joining me for Bible studies, I try to stream once a day over on my channel, Kevin's Biblical Discussions. If you want to stop by and check it out sometime, I love to have people come on if you have questions about the Bible or you want to talk about Jesus. If you aren't saved or you belong to a different faith and you want to talk about the Lord, I'd love to. That's my passion. I just want people to come to know Jesus Christ. Sorry, back on topic anyway, I'll mute.
No, you're good, man. And let's see. Put something in the side chat, and I'll give you a wrench if you don't have one already, so you can post a link over to your channel.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I'll do that once I leave StreamYard because I'm on my phone. I'm not home.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I can't be in YouTube and StreamYard at the same time on the phone.
Well, if you have an Android, you can actually do split screen mode and do it that way. I've done that many times on my phone. Yes. Do you have an Android?
Yeah, I got a Droid. Yeah.
Okay. Tap your bottom left button that shows you your different apps you have active, and then tap and hold on Chrome. I assume that's what you're in, and then it should give you a pop-up window and give you an option for split screen.
Oh.
It's like hold, tap on Chrome and hold it down, but you have to do it in that mode where you got the option to swipe left and right to see all the different choose different apps that you have open, and then like I said, you should see a window and do the split screen, and then it'll let you open another app. Yeah, it was really frustrating not being able to be in StreamYard and do other things on my phone at the same time. It's quite frustrating. Anyway, okay. So I think Creo had some stuff earlier that he was wanting to talk about. So Creo, what was on your mind, man?
It was a little bit off top, so can we put back to the line? So I wanted to make comments about stuff. No, you can pretty show my screen. So it was actually some guy in the chat showed me this writing of I don't know where this comes. So about challenge and debunking, and he wanted name is what was name? No matter. So and do you want, guys, or I don't know, that we can go through the not all because it is big, through some points of this paper and make comments about it. What do you think, LPP?
Okay, can you say that one more time? What specifically are you asking?
Because thought I was challenged to read this writing, and this supposed to prove that evolution is debunked because it is against Aaron Ra video, sort of that. It's here.
Okay. Is it supposed to be debunking his phylogeny challenge or whatever it is?
Oh yes.
Yeah, so I haven't read that, so I'm not sure what exactly what all that says.
Okay, so I was basically challenged by this guy to make some comments about it. So actually, I do not really care about the stuff of directly Aaron Ra, what he said, because I do not participate in some soap opera where people just accuse each other. I will go to the facts regarding to science and evolution. Okay, so what is... cannot tell that humans are vastly different than animals even visually. Or how exactly humans are vastly different than animals. in. So humans have pretty much the same amount of teeth that great apes, and basically about the same morphology was said actually a lot. So this is a comment. Humans are vastly different than animals with gaps. So it is this kind of typical statement where you assert something with actually zero backup. And if you have basic critical thinking, you instantly see that the level of this writing. Okay. Similarities rather than differences. Okay, we can look on similarities and differences. Believe
Cleo,
that
is there something that you tried to get to? Because, I mean, no offense, dude, but your German's thick, and you reading a website to me is kind of difficult, so.
Maybe can I make it larger moment? It's much. Can you read it now? Oh, maybe I will share the link. It was actually already shared. Okay, so this is challenge. So it is about vastly different. They are not vastly different, both anatomically and actually genetically. About genetically, it was told 1,000 times. Okay.
Oh, here's what I think. I think whoever was challenging you about this in side chat needs to join the stream and you two can have a little mini debate.
Yes, but I don't know. This guy could have had many chances to join the stream already, so we can talk like, and he can join in any moment. Basically, what we need now is only this writing, because he stands a lot. Sort area, stop mixing through this slice arrow. Yes, can okay.
We'll check real quick. So God is now here. Thank you so much for your very generous super chat. $25 says evolution research is the science of assumptions. Creation research is the science of what is observable. Therefore, creation research is scientific. Appreciate that very much. And real quick, I think Jackson had something he wanted to toss in as well. What's up, Jackson?
Yeah, I just want to say, kind of unrelated to the debate, but I mean, it's about Kent. I mean, I think he catches a lot of crap from my side, but you know, I think we've come to kind of mutually respect each other a little bit in these past three debates. You know, all three have been civil. And I was texting him earlier. We're going to do some video debate or something. So,
hey Jackson, can I ask you a question, man?
Kind of like the Aaron Raw style one. Sure.
So, would you agree with the trees that are put in the textbooks, like, you know, the single-celled organisms to multi-celled organisms to other things like bananas and birds?
I would agree with that, but I think the explanation is more complicated than David was letting on. And,
okay, so are you willing to admit then, at one point, something produced something different than its own kind?
Well, he was trying to explain monophyly, like nothing ever truly grows out of its ancestry. If humans always going to have primate, mammal, vertebrate in its lineage. That's what he was trying to say, and it just wasn't coming out.
No, I know, but I'm asking.
So like a human's never going to give birth to a dog or something like that. Well, give it a million generations, and humans are going to look vastly different. Yeah, I think so.
So it's possible for everything. So everything starts from a single-celled organism, and somehow we have everything that is today, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, it was also in this debate said about maybe green algae experiment where a single-cellular organism originally became multicellular features including the specification of cell, etc. So it was somehow not recognizing that it is really transition from single-cellular to multicellular organism, and actually, like always, not paying any attention to the details, what actually a real scientific paper consists of. Basically, you can hear about its explanation about it on some Dr. Dan videos. It was pretty good explained there.
Creo, is that a Nature paper you're talking about? I think I might have found it.
Yes, it is a green algae experiment.
I'm gonna post it in the chat for you. It's something along those lines of unicellular to multicellular in response to predation. It says. I just started reading it. I haven't actually read it.
Yes, I know.
So it's a colony, right?
So going back to the debate, it was in the debates refuted that it shows a real transition from single cellular to multicellular because, for example, can't just say that just these single cellular organisms are just clumping together and it is not transition to multicellular. How would you refute that?
If you read the paper, it says that they formed a cell membrane around the whole clump of cells, and they reproduced not by aggregation or individuals budding. They reproduced in a multicellular fashion for 4 years. They kept the experiment running for that long.
Oh, thanks. And how long did it take from original population to this?
Guys. Wait. So they're able to do some sort of weird thing in a lab, right? But out in nature, would this thing have been able to do this on its own? I'd argue no. All this is proving is that it takes intelligence for life. For things to happen, it takes intelligence. Things don't just happen.
Well, it's showing feasibility.
Do you understand that lab is the place where some conditions are created? So if the conditions are the same with the natural environment, it is equivalent to this. So, or else, you would
not. The intelligence of these men to create the proper things for this to happen. This wouldn't happen in nature.
Well, you don't know that. It's a feasibility experiment.
Well,
as
there's
John
some
Tuer points out,
that are a billion years old or so of multicellular organisms with two types of differentiated cells, bicell and braseri, I think it's called.
However, Jackson, I think it could be found somewhere in nature, this transition, because there is pretty much location with just bacterial meds are in nature or something like that.
This was the process that was used for everything that exists today. How is a single-celled organism able to survive, first of all? Second of all, once it became multicellular, how was it able to reproduce? And how was it able to feed its offspring? There's so many factors that go into this. It's just a wild thing.
Read the paper.
Yes, in the paper shows that it was reproduced in a multicellular manner. Yes.
If you take cyanobacteria, for example, they are supposed to be the oldest organisms on Earth, 3.7 billion years old. Now the thing is that they have a genome of about 4 million nucleotides, and they have one nucleotide alteration at each 50,000 nucleotides. Then you can make the calculation, and they would have supposedly changed the entire genome, mutated 7,000 times in that period of 3.7 billion years with that mutation rate. So of course you need to still have to ask what would be the rate of fixing each mutation. But even just based on these numbers, you can see that there's something wrong here.
Right, you may not calculate the mutation so naive, because if you look, because the selection acts on the mutation, for example, and if some mutation gets beneficial, it gets preserved, and other mutation what are not beneficial are erased from the population.
Yes, but what I am saying is
thereby you cannot derive these numbers so naively.
What I said that I don't know what would be the rate of fixation of each mutation, but nonetheless, I mean, 3.7 billion years, and supposedly that organism hasn't changed in that time period. Now, the interesting thing as well is that cyanobacteria are extremely complex and supposedly emerged right at the beginning of the evolutionary ladder. And they have photosynthesis, they have the flagella, they have circadian
I would like to
rhythms,
ask,
they have nitrogenase. So they're extremely complex. And you have to suppose that all this complexity emerged in a very relatively short evolutionary time period, and then they remained static for 4 billion years.
Few hundred million years.
Can I ask Jackson or Ogre, are you aware about the genome? Do we have data about the genome like 4 or 3 billion years ago to compare it with modern bacteria or something?
I don't think so, in
No.
my knowledge.
No, we don't have that old of a genome. No.
Yeah, I don't think the
I think the
stromatolites
oldest genome,
that
or
sort of
the oldest
information.
DNA, is like not even a million years old. It's the oldest DNA, and it's not a complete genome.
So you cannot get this with where there is some places with very good fossilization of bacteria, also with some inner organs of its cell. Is it possible that some genome would survive there or not? What do you think?
For like 38.7 billion years, I don't think a single gene is gonna last. But if you found that, I would say that would be good evidence the Earth is not that old.
Yeah, we could test Otangelo's theory that way.
Okay, so Otangelo, we have cleared the questions about the genome was changes or not, because you do not know what the genome was originally on 3 billion years ago.
No, science claims that cyanobacteria are supposedly 3.7 billion years old, and the smallest genome is about 4 million nucleotides. And they have a mutation rate of 1 nucleotide in each 50,000 DNA replications. Okay.
But again, you do not know is this genome similar to today's or not. You know it length at least.
Well, if
and you can, and I
to
already tell you
static,
you cannot take this mutation rate and think that over a large scale of time there will be a constant mutation rate about it.
Well,
actually, Dr. Dan has pretty good videos with detailed explanation about mutation rate.
Well, if the organism hasn't changed phenotypically in 3.7 billion years, then you have to suppose that the genome also didn't change, right?
No. There can be... No, not at all. It can be
the phenotype doesn't have to change for the genotype to change.
Yes, and I'm also pretty sure that phenotype has also changed.
So you can have the same genome and it changes the phenotype, even if you don't change.
We can have very different genome and have the same phenotype, because at least, as you should know, there is some substitution in the genome what will not affect about the amino acid change. And actually, there can be protein can be interchanged in vast majority of very simple, very similar proteins without a big change to the organism. Jackson, can you say, am I right about it?
I'm sorry, I zoned out. I was reading the side chat.
So the question is about that we can have actually big genetical changes without significant functionality changes of, for example, proteins.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest
John, aren't
genetics
you
guy,
quite
but I
knowledgeable
do
in
know
this
that
stuff?
genome can change a lot and have a relatively low phenotypic impact.
Yeah, I think it is very strange that you have a bacteria which can survive in the desert and can survive in the ocean and basically in sweet water. Basically, in every environment where you go, you have cyanobacteria, and they supposedly change genetically or phenotype and remain static in 3.7
Yes,
billion years.
Angelo.
Trio,
can
let me have a go at that, please.
Okay.
Otangelo, would that statement say, therefore, that the cyanobacteria has reached a point where it doesn't need to change anymore to be better adapted for its surroundings? If it can survive in all these different various environments, then it doesn't have that evolutionary push to adapt to survive better. I mean, you kind of answered your own question there. It hasn't changed in a while because it hasn't needed to change in a while.
Well, first of all, I reject the term adaptation being used for evolution because it's not. Adaptation is already within the genetic gene code that's there. It's not new information. It's information that already exists.
Okay, can I ask how exactly the adaptation is already there in the genome?
Like if you like with Darwin when he was looking at the finches, right? Like you had the finches had the thick beaks, the smaller beaks, the longer beaks. The information within the DNA was already there for all the different variations of a beak. It's not new information.
Are you aware how exactly the information is written in the DNA?
Well, I'm not a scientist. I haven't looked that deeply into it, but I mean, I have
Yes,
common
but
sense.
I think, Kevin, you're making a relevant point, and I agree with you.
So
and
I would
interesting
say
is, and can I finish, please? And I think that the first organism, the first living form, had already to have that capability to adapt to the environment. Otherwise, it would immediately die. And of course, you have also to explain that in abiogenesis. How did these mechanisms, like heat shock proteins, emerge prebiotically in order for the first living cell to be able to adapt to different environment conditions?
Otangelo,
can we go back to finches, please?
Well, I got a quick question for Otangelo, but I'm cool with that. Just a question. Does this, so if the first example, the first thing God made had the power to be every possible variation of its kind or biomology or whatever, does that first example kind still exist in any thing you can think of? Like there was a cat that had the ability to be all cats. So does that first cat exist still?
Well, if we consider that, as said before, there are animals that didn't change, like there are many examples that we have, and they suppose they didn't change; they remain static. There is evolutionary stasis. So I think if we take that as an example, it might be probable that there are animals which didn't change on very huge time scales.
But you don't know like a specific one that the genome itself verifies this claim.
Well, as I said before, cyanobacteria are claimed to be the very, very first organisms that populated the Earth in an evolutionary narrative, and they were on Earth 3.7 billion years ago. So very early at the beginning of life, even if we take that evolution and old Earth is true, so they supposedly wouldn't have changed, and they would still be the same.
Otangelo, are you aware that cyanobacteria is a large group of bacteria? So it's like saying that birds have occupied the Earth because there are polar birds and there are desert birds. But for example, a penguin would not have large chance to survive in the desert. However, it is both birds. So the same situation is with cyanobacteria. And actually, if it is bacteria, it should be more diverse than birds or multicellular organism, actually. So now back to the finches. So Kevin, do you think that if finch have a small beak, that in its genome there is some information about the large beak? So I understood that you think about genome like that, yeah?
I'm sorry, I had a hard time understanding what you said.
So recently you said that you think if the finch have, for example, small beak in its genome, there is already information about the large beak.
Well, yeah, if you have a finch and you put a population of finches and you isolate them on the island, and then let's say you take a couple and you move them elsewhere, and where it's not beneficial to have a smaller beak anymore, obviously the genetic code for the bigger beak is still in there, and they'll start giving birth
Where
to
did
finches that bigger.
And how do you know that it is
where did
in
the
there?
information for eating nylon come from? There's the bacteria that consumes nylon.
So
And nylon's a
think
synthetic
you think
material.
that
Bring up Nylonase. That's been
Jackson.
debunked. Nylonase
Jackson,
was
that's
been debunked.
that one's an old one, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
an
there's it was actually some
All right,
Japanese some Japanese researchers went over that. They found that there's I forget what it's called now, but there's a very similar naturally occurring fiber that is it's very, very close structurally to nylon, and that the ability to dissolve that one already existed.
Right. And that's why I think God should get the glory for his creation, because he's so smart and intelligent. He knows, like, if I want this to survive in this kind of climate, I'm going to predispose in his DNA something that will allow it to survive in this kind of climate. Humans, for example, darker skinned people can handle the heat better than light skinned people. Like that's a variation in the same kind. We're still interfertile. Blacks can mate with whites. Dogs with long hair, dogs with short hair, dogs with longer noses, dogs with shorter noses. Like all this stuff is already pre-existing information that exists within the gene code.
Yes, but can I say for the moment? So, are you sure that your view is correct? That, for example, people who have white skin have in their genome information about the black skin.
You can use me for
your genome model.
I'm half black, right? My dad was black and my mother is English and German, but I turned out really white. I look white. You wouldn't know I'm half black, but that doesn't mean that I still don't have in my genetics that code because my father was black. I mean, would it be possible for me to have not a black baby, but like a tan? Yeah, like a tan baby. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know actually how the skin color of humans is regulated? If you would like to know more, you can actually Google and find valid information about it.
You're talking about
it is regulated.
You mean I can be a black man? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, spend a couple hours under the tanning bed, Alec.
Yeah, not my white butt. No way.
Hey, listen. Robert Downey Jr. was black in a movie once, so it's possible.
Yeah, Tropic of Thunder. Yeah. Hey, John.
When do we get to the blue-green algae of Australia? When do we get to that, where it suffocated all the fish up there on the Brisbane River?
Hey, wait 1 second. Kevin, are you taking off? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I gotta go for now, but I might be back in like 45 minutes or so if you're still streaming.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you joining us, and if you don't make it back, you're always welcome. And I hope you have a great night, man.
All right, thanks. God bless you,
Kevin.
No, I think the point that's being made, and it's you're talking about the finches and such, it's well established that it was, the regulatory component or elements necessary for the larger and smaller beak sizes were there. So, and they do return. It's been well documented over the last 40 years, whatever it's been, that they, based on weather and the availability of different nut sizes, has directly resulted in the short-term larger beaked finches being dominant, and then when the things go back to the way they were before, the smaller beaked ones, it shifts back to that. But they're staying inside of a flexible range of adaptation, which was the point I think that was being made in terms of
I've seen it in the wild. I've been to Galapagos.
That capability. It was already in existence. It wasn't a new capacity. Was the point?
Yeah, it's rain season versus dry seasons. So whatever the trade winds blow. So there's generally cyclical. So, you look at 5 years of drought and you look at 5 years of rain, you're going to get a different population.
But to be honest, I really don't understand why those in favor of the evolutionary arguments are so resistant to accepting the obvious in terms of the observed variability of function. Like, I'm 6'1", Shaq is 7'1". There's a foot difference between the two of us. But then there's also I forget the guy's name, the guy that played Mini-Me in Austin Powers, right? He was, I think, 21 or 22 inches tall, but he was still human, right? So obviously, not in this context, it was due to errors. But at the same time, the average male in the United States is 5'9". That doesn't mean that all the guys in the NBA are somehow not human, even though they might, on average, be a foot taller than the average guy. So a lot of these flexibilities, I mean, it's observable flexibility that's already available in the genetic code, unless you're going to try and claim that Shaquille O'Neal is, some kind of a mutant, which I don't think he is, obviously.
His dad was tall too.
Well, of course, there's variability.
Right, so that's the whole point in the context of if you're going all the way back to I'm going to use an analogy I've used many times. I really don't understand why so many people seem incapable of grasping this in the modern era of technology in which we live. Okay, so if we have a code base that is what life depends upon, and please tell me, Jackson, you, Ogre, and Creo are not of the group that claims there is not a digital code base that is enabling life to exist.
Oh, it's all code, man. It's matrix through and through.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not much into genetics.
So,
well, okay. Well, anyway,
I would talk. I would chat about code a little bit because I am actually IT guy, and I would tell you in details what is digital code and what is not digital but analogical code.
Okay, cool. So is the genetic code digital or not digital?
No, it is not digital.
Oh,
what?
Okay.
Surprised.
It's quaternary, bro. It's
Every time, dude. Every time. Okay. So what is
dimensional digital code? It's already been
digital code is the code what codes digits.
Creo, please don't say that the only digital code is freaking zeros and ones. Please tell me it's not. You don't think that.
No. Digital code is the code what function is to code some kind of discrete digits. For example, integers or floats or some commands what are represented by digits. DNA does not code digits, integer or float. DNA codes. Can I please finish?
No, dude, hang on. We need to set some foundations because you said you're going to explain what code is. Are you describing higher level language or machine code right now?
Actually, I am describing machine code because because you may not bring to the case the high level language at all. I describe machine code.
I understand that. So does every code have have bases?
Yes, every code has an alphabet.
Okay, so binary is 2. Quaternary a quaternary code would be 4, right?
Right.
Okay,
this
so
is exponentially larger.
So is the genetic code a quaternary or a binary code base?
It's neither, because the purpose. Can I tell, please? The function of the DNA is not.
I don't give. We're gonna set the foundations of what code is, okay, and then we're going to establish whether or not the genetic code has all of the principles of any other type of code that's well recognized, and then I'm going to pull up a whole crap load of papers on this, and I'm going to get you to debunk all of the PhDs who categorically disagree with you. So a code has bases, right? It has an alphabet, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you're gonna have to do code mapping, right, to assign the values, correct?
The reason that code mapping exists does not make it digital. As I said before, digital is a code what codes digits, so complex digits. Like, for example, do you know in machinery code, for example, complex digits like integer is code.
What a complex digit, dude. A digit is something that represents something. The digit is 0 or 1. Then it can those are combined into a string. Then those are combined. The alphabet bases are combined into a string to be equal to something. That's what code mapping does. That's what you're doing in code mapping. Okay, so ASCII or Unicode is it a block code of zeros and ones that are equal to a letter A or B or C and so on and so forth. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So at the semiotic root of code, before you're getting into all the things that they represent, okay, and the functions they can the commands they can execute, you have to have code mapping done of the symbols that are being utilized in the code itself, right? In order to have anything actually happen with the code and have the code have any kind of meaning. That's at the root. We're starting at step 1 of communication. You're trying to jump up to like step 5, okay? We have to go back to the beginning of what are the fundamentals of the things that make up a code. Now, are codes going to have source and target alphabets?
Not all, actually, and not necessarily digital. As I told before, the analogous codes like old TV signals have also mapping from the coded to decoded.
Old TV signals were analog.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So analog is not digital. So analog is not digital, right?
Right. Analog is not digital.
Okay. Cool. So can you have a multiplex code if it's not a code and if it's not digital?
What exactly do you mean on the multiplex?
You have the ability to send multiple channels via the same syntax on the same channel.
Yes, you can do it with analogous code. If you, for example, have people have many smartphones in some room and different smartphones send different signals. For example, they are floating in air simultaneously.
The information. Okay, the medium which contains the code has no relevance to whether or not it is digital or not when it's decoded. Dude, what world are you living in, bro? Are you saying that the signal that my Wi-Fi router is receiving via radio waves and then being sent down a freaking fiber optic cable, are you suggesting that information is not digital?
Okay, it is interpreted as digital. So as I say,
it has to be encoded. It has to be encoded, transmitted, and decoded. Correct? In multiple languages, right? Okay, and when it's going along any telecommunication pathway, it's probably encoded, decoded in at least 12, 13, 14, 15 times, right? In different formats, right?
With the same way, it could be analogous signal.
Right, and at each stage, is it still a digital code? Is it still digital code at every stage of translation?
Not necessary.
Holy shit, dude! Are you kidding?
Actually, you have the digital to analog conversion, then transmission, then analog to digital conversion back during the transmission of radio signal.
That's it. My CDs don't work anymore. They're all analog. They forgot the digital code.
And there is a transmission from analog signal to digital signal, as I said.
Well, LPP
and
the
digital signal is a signal what contain a stream of composite digits.
Signal. I said is the information digital. The information that's being transmitted is digital. The information is digital. It has to be. It has to be encoded and decoded in a digital format. Like the medium, again, I'm repeating myself, the medium which is transferring it has zero relevance to whether or not the information itself is digital. It doesn't matter if you have something.
Okay,
on,
so can you view that?
Oh, God.
Can you
Okay,
view then that DNA with its bases are also a medium where the information is transferred?
Dude, if I have letters carved out of wood, okay, if I have the numbers, if I have 0 through 9 carved out of wood, does the fact that they're made out of wood change the fact that they're digits?
No, it is you who made it
the point, dude, you're missing the point. The point is the medium has no relevance to whether or not something is ultimately a digital representation. Like, that's the whole point. You're thinking that the syntactic representation, the symbol of it, is somehow okay. I'm just going to pull up some papers, and I'm going to let you go ahead and debunk the fact that the genetic code is a digital code.
Is it this paper about that DNA has a syntax, semantic, and pragmatic, and all the stuff? Because I have already seen that.
I mean, dude, there's like...
So if I may say, do you know that tire leaves a tire track, for example, and there is sort of relation between the tire type, it's so picture of the tire and tire track, and backwards, so looking at the tire track, you can reconstruct the tire. So is this a code for you?
Hey bro, slow down. Your accent's being very strong. It's getting hard to understand you. Slow down.
What is that accent? What is your accent, Creo? Where are you from?
Sorry, I have bad accent, I know. So
yeah, but where are you from? Just curiosity, where are you from?
I live in Germany, and I come from Russia. Therefore, this is my accent.
Oh my God, German and Russian? No.
Yes,
no wonder I can't understand you.
So what I wanted to say, the best analogy for me about the DNA is a tire track. Do you understand these words? So it's basically you have a car, yes, driving on the street, what is on sand or snow and it leaves some track behind it. So there is correspondence between tire and the tire track. It is, for example, it is example about analogous signal. If you want, you can look at the tire and find some alphabet in there, because the elements are sort of they build alphabet, so to say, but it does not make it digital alphabet. And about the DNA is correspondence from nucleotide to amino acid and to the protein. And it is basically because it is a string of nucleotides corresponds to the string of amino acids, corresponds to different proteins, and it is actually a very good example about analogous signal, analogous coding, because complex digits are not coded by the codon, and they are also not interpreted as digits and are not processed as digits during our biochemistry.
Okay, I'm done with this, bro. The words that are coming out of your mouth, maybe it's a language barrier, but this is just driving me up the wall. I mean, in a 3D printer, are you suggesting that there's not digital representation of the X, Y, and Z axis that ultimately results in a three-dimensional object being printed?
So what 3D printer is an artificial object constructed to operate with...
Dude, answer the question. Is there or is there not digital information that is necessary in order for a three-dimensional object to be printed? Yes or no?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, okay.
It is false analogy.
Okay. I'm done with hearing false analogy stuff. It's freaking ridiculous. We're just going to have to, as usual, have to do in every single one of these freaking after shows. Oh, I have to pull up papers to explain the basics to people. It's very freaking obnoxious.
Well, Creo Debunk, let me ask you something. The
Sure.
triple codon, does it have an assignment of meaning to amino acids?
It has some assignment from this to this, but it does not mean that it is consciousness meaning for someone built. There is process in nature where the assignments.
That's not what I asked. I just asked
Well,
you one
I'm saying, hang
question.
on, Creo, if you want to have conversation, actually answer questions and don't zip around. We don't give two shits about whether we're not establishing whether or not there's a conscious agent or if it is conscious itself. We're talking about whether or not there is meaning, there is recognized value assignment to a codon being equal to an amino acid. That's it. That's all it needs to be answered. It's either yes or no. Whether or not it understands has conscious understanding of it is irrelevant. Okay, just like our computers don't understand what a block code of zeros and ones means. It can be programmed to have a translation mechanism.
If you say then that something has meaning, this statement. The statement means that you must view it as intelligent agent, because there is correspondences in.
Okay, I'm done. That's a waste of time.
Yeah,
that's a waste of time.
He's rambling and rambling, but you cannot have a dialogue with this guy, and he will not understand. He has made up his mind and thinks that he has already psychologically excluded God as a possibility. So. You cannot argue whatsoever.
But at this point, it has nothing to do with God. It has whether or not to do with what is well recognized in freaking genetics and biological research. Like, this is well established stuff, and I get so tired of listening to these same talking points from YouTube atheists who run around claiming that this stuff doesn't exist and make me have to repeat myself 1,000 freaking times every single after show. It's so obnoxious.
Yeah, of course he knew where we wanted to go with this, and immediately he wanted to make his case and deny that intelligence is required to make a value assignment or a meaning assignment. So he wanted actually to advance and not even let me question because he knew what was coming.
I'm going to head off. Maddox, thanks for having me on. It's tired. I'm in bed. Whatever that sentence is supposed to be. So, take care.
Right, I appreciate it, Jagger.
Yeah, I was gonna wait, but it was too late because that long looping conversation on denying digital code, that was amazing. Wow. So we don't substitute symbols and letters in physics and in algebra, simple algebra. We don't substitute letters as numbers. Interesting.
John, I will leave soon too, but I did put here in the side chat a paper which I think is quite amazing. You know that there is quite some significant debate going on about common ancestry of humans with apes, right? And recently I was trying to see what science says in parts in regards of unique traits of humans which are not shared with apes. And this paper, which I put the title, you can Google it afterwards, makes some very interesting revelations. Like, there are 35,000 human-specific neuroregulatory single nucleotide changes revealed, a staggering breadth of significant associations with morphological structures, physiological processes, and pathological conditions of modern humans. That means that it is not the nucleotide sequence, but a gene regulatory network which wires the brain. And it is a very different wiring of the brain in humans than in primates. And 35,000 nucleotide differences is pretty big number. And if you claim that there was a split 6 million years ago, how do you get 35,000 mutations in that time period if just to fix 2 or 4 mutations takes 80 or 100 million years?
Yeah, it's just okay. So assuming Creo is still in the side chat, I'm just going to let somebody else speak for me regarding digital code. So
in biology, I suppose it would have to be the double helix, Watson and Crick discovery of the structure of DNA, which was far more than just the discovery, the crystallographic work, discovering the structure of a big molecule. Because what that led up to was a major revolution in which much of biology became a sort of branch of information technology. The consequence of the Watson-Crick discovery, with all that it led on to, the DNA code and the sort of various genome projects that are going on now, is that genes, which from my point of view are absolutely central to biology, genes are information. They are coded information. It even looks like computer information. I mean, a chromosome is a great long computer tape. It's linear, it runs one-dimensional, digital code. It's not binary, it's quaternary, but apart from that, it's just the same as computer tape. It's read in sequence. It's copied and pasted from one part of the organism to another in just the same way as a computer programmer would copy and paste. So biology has turned into computer science, and the sort of mystification of biology, which was still possible when people could talk about a life force, a vital fluid, things like that, essentially skyhook explanations, that's completely out. You can never hear anybody talking nonsense like that anymore. And it's all, I won't say it's all due to Watson and Crick, but it was Watson and Crick that really finally torpedoed that kind of thinking in biology. So I suppose as a biologist, I mean, I have to set the great physical discoveries on one side, important as they are, because they're not my field. In my own field, I think I'd have to say Watson and Crick 1953 is the greatest breakthrough in 20th century science.
That's got to be the
he's
smartest
just
thing
blind.
that Richard Dawkins ever said. God bless him, that poor little Satanist.
Yeah, well, and Creo, you might also want to go over to John Perry's channel, Stated Casually, where he had by the way, atheist, had a interview with Dawkins on this exact topic maybe a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And, well, actually, it's probably been like 3 months now, but they went over this, and the whole purpose of their interview was to deal with atheists on YouTube running around claiming that the genetic code is not actually a digital code. And I reviewed that stream, and John Perry actually found out about it, came over and told me that if there was anybody who still was arguing that it wasn't a digital code, to send him over to him and tell them to just stop being idiots for once. And you can just completely, stop regurgitating the same bovine scatology talking points that are just obnoxiously repetitive and ignorant. Anyway, my rant is over.
But then he goes on and claims that the origin of it was
I
through
never said it
evolution.
wasn't a code. I don't know anything about genetics, so.
And John, what is funny, on Twitter, I did send him a message, and I told him that he cannot explain the origin of the genetic code through evolution because it is an origin of life problem, because it had to be already fully developed and functional when life started. Do you know what his answer was?
I can probably like signal theory or something.
No answer.
No, well, yeah, that didn't surprise me either. Actually, in line, let's continue this trend real quick. Hang on one second.
This is the reason why I love biology, though. Biology is self-assembling nanotechnology with a built-in programming language. No other nanotechnology has this. This is really important.
I think the core idea behind synthetic biology is that biology is fundamentally programmable because it runs on digital code in the form of DNA. And we can read that code with DNA sequencing. We can write that code with DNA synthesis or DNA printing. And if you can read and write code and you have a machine that'll run it, which is sort of how we saw a cell, that's programming, right? And you could ask, oh, how expensive is this? How reliable, Jason, is it to program cells? Those are fair questions. But is biology fundamentally programmable? The answer is yes. That's inarguable because it runs on code that we can read and write. All right?
So that was the CEO of a company that's had like I think a $3 billion IPO. Yeah, I'm going to just go out on a limb and suggest that might know a little bit more about this topic than okay, so Creo is now saying that something is read and written does not make it a digital code. Well, I guess all those guys who specifically delineated it as digital are just totally wrong, and the plethora of papers that talk about it being digital are also wrong. And there's even papers that are titled "The Digital Information in DNA." I mean, it's like this is an example, ladies and gentlemen, of yet another YouTube atheist who insists on ignoring the obvious. And I guess they just need to go and inform all of these individuals who write papers on this stuff that they don't understand the definition of digital. I think that must be what's going on. It's kind of amazing. I mean, for example purposes,
stunned.
let me go ahead.
Totally stunned.
I'm going to share my screen real quick. And so here's a paper, the title of which, as you will see for yourself here momentarily, if my computer will share. Come on. What's happening? Oh, man. What's happening?
But John, I wouldn't even emphasize so much or argue about the fact that it is digital or not. But I think the key point here is that there is a value assignment, that the codon has a meaning. Okay? And I think this is the big question. How can meaning assignment originate if there is no mind which does the assignment?
Well, in other words, information requires a sender and a receiver. So automatically, that's actually divine. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, but the thing is that you need the assignment of a word, what it means, and codons are words, and they have a meaning, and there has to be an assignment. And if there is no intelligence involved, how do you do the assignment?
Right, no such thing. It's by default. Right. Necessary antecedent means it has a creator. There's no way around it. Yeah, you'd have to be insane in 2022 to believe in evolutionism. Thanks.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with evolution. It has to do with the question where the assignment of that meaning came from. Because you need a genetic code to start a translation, to start with translation. And translation is essential for life. If you don't have translation of the genetic information into proteins, you cannot start life because you need the molecular machines, right? So we are talking here about an abiogenesis problem, which has nothing to do with evolution. Atheists, they constantly try to smuggle in evolution in a topic which has nothing to do with it. And that is the big question. Why would mindless, inanimated molecules make a value and meaning assignment?
There's no answer. You're asking. That's like saying, why are elephant feathers gold? There's
yes,
no such thing.
Yes,
nope.
Yes, of course. But that's what atheists seemingly either willingly don't want to understand or effectively don't understand what we are talking about. Either one or the other.
Yeah, Untangelo.
Computer 3.
Yeah, Untangelo. I had a atheist named Warlord in one of the chats. His name was Warlord. It instantly made me think of Die Hard 4. But anyway, I was told it was panspermia. That's how it worked. The aliens.
Panspermia has first of all panspermia has nothing to do with the origin of the genetic code.
Right.
It supposedly tries to explain the origin of amino acids, and it is a very bad and absolutely not case adequate explanation.
We'll throw it against the wall, see if it sticks, right?
Well, someone brings up panspermia to explain the origin of the genetic code, then this person just demonstrates that they don't know what they are talking about.
Yep.
That's moving the problem down the road. That's just another way to hide from the reality. That's all it is cowering
Yeah,
the
it's
truth.
it's just throwing something on the wall to see if it sticks.
Okay, real quick, guys. Okay, so the digital nature of biological information. The value of having an entire genome sequence is that one can initiate the study of a biological system with a precise, definable digital core of information for that organism, a fully delineated genetic source code. The challenge then is in deciphering what information is encoded within the operative word digital code. The genome encodes two main types of digital information: the genes that encode the protein and RNA molecular machines of life, and the regulatory networks that specify how these genes are expressed in time, space, and amplitude. I mean, I don't really know how much more direct you have to be about that. But also, there's other papers I could pull up where they go into great detail about how there is both digital and analog information in that's stored within DNA. So I really don't understand why people continue to make these arguments. It's so freaking
John, you know why there is also analog information stored in the DNA molecule?
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I was looking at the side chat. What did you say?
Do you know why there is as well analog information stored in the DNA molecule?
Got some ideas, but why don't you fill us in?
Because the attachment of the factors. What's the name again? Shit.
You're talking about the regulatory factors?
Yeah.
Or sorry, yeah, translation. Transcription factors. Wow, brain freeze. Late night brain freeze. Transcription factors. Yes.
Yeah, they need to recognize where they have to bind on the DNA molecule physically, and they do it on the exterior part of the chromosomes. So this is analog. That information on the you have the I forgot the name now. I forgot the name. Anyway, they need to attach to the DNA in order to inform when the gene has to start transcription. Okay, so in order to attach for the transcription factor to attach to the DNA, there is the large groove and the small groove, and they always attach at the large groove of the DNA ladder. Okay, and they need to know where they have to attach at the ladder. So that structure on the outside of the DNA molecule, that is the analog information, which tells the transcription factor where it has to attach. And when it does so, then it signals where it has to start and to stop transcription. And that is another layer of information besides the sequence of nucleotides.
Interesting. Yeah, it's amazing all the different. Well, Jackson,
and you have even.
Well, Jackson, well, go ahead, Angelo, and then I'll follow. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And you have even a transcription code where different transcription factors where they bind together, okay, and there is another layer of code to then bind to the DNA molecule, and that gives you an entirely different structure to start transcription.
Interesting. So, Jackson, I find it interesting that you so adamantly debate in favor of evolution, but per your own admission, your knowledge of genetics is limited, shall we say. But isn't modern evolution supposedly supported and if not as quasi proven by genetics? Wouldn't it make sense to have a little more knowledge about it?
Well, more my angle on it. I tend to look at fossils.
Right, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
but the fossils don't necessarily have the don't say create the proof, right? And if it's all supposedly now proven by my point is that you're operating from lots of assumptions if you're founding most of your position on fossils that you can't actually prove. Other than there's very, very broad assumptions that are made, right?
Well, I mean, some of them are seem to be transitional to other things, definitely. But like Acanthostega and Ichthyostega, they lived around the same time. Which one is ancestral to other things? So, I mean, you can't say a transitional fossil is necessarily the ancestor of anything, but you can tell it's close to it, or you can never definitively say that it's the ancestor, if that makes any sense. I'm very tired.
Wow. Yeah, you'd have to have a religious belief in the first place. You'd have to have a complete set of presuppositional religious assumptions entirely to even make any of those claims. That's just, it's what it is. Evolution's a religion. No matter what we find, they'll come up with an excuse why to believe and magically claim that's what it proves when they have no idea what they're talking about. That's why they admit they can't even tell you where they get the basis for the radiometric dating in the first place, and the fact that they came up with the dating methods before radiometric dating even existed. It's just it just turns people into insane religious zealots is all it does.
Yeah, just real quick, John, thank you for having me here. It was fun. I'm going to sleep. It's late here. And Jackson, I think that if you believe that fossils have something to do to explain evolution, I think that is not the case. I think that in order to substantiate whatever mechanism is proposed to explain biodiversity and organism architecture, you need to go to a biochemical level, to molecular level. There, the things happen.
The back chat's getting a little toasty back there, John. Nice back chat there.
Say what? There's one. I haven't been looking at it. What's going on?
The back chat had some interesting claims about certain people going to hell. I thought that was funny.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I've been in my folder looking at
never mind
papers. Okay, so for the audience, one more time, and this applies to you too, Jackson. Error correcting codes and information in biology. Shannon's coding theorem. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so this entire paper is founded on error correction codes in biological systems, how they are directly equivalent to like Hamming codes that we use in our computer systems, and how they're necessary in order for life to basically exist. Otherwise, it's like massive error catastrophe. And so again, back to all the people who ad nauseum question whether or not there's a freaking code. How does coding theorem and error correction codes apply if it's not actually code? I just don't know how many times this has to be explained, but apparently it does. And it's just these papers go on and on and on about how they operate and like how you're applying math to this, and that's how it's like same thing we do in our binary based codes. This is just quaternary, but the same logic applies. And I just for all the people who continually claim this doesn't exist, go read the freaking papers and then call up all of the usually atheist authors of the papers and go explain to them how they don't understand their own research. It just blows me away every time. Anyway, I yield.
Unfortunately, it's just more overcomplicating things. It's honestly not even fair for you guys because you're playing into a trap anyway. When you're playing into a trap based on assumptions, it's called a mousetrap for a reason. It doesn't matter even if the DNA was 100% identical. If there's still separate gene pools that are not compatible, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, like an eagle and a falcon have 100% identical gene pools. A tortoise and a turtle have 100% identical gene pools. You can't tell the difference under a microscope, yet they're completely different kinds. They're completely different families. There's not even margin for any evolution. There's actually no margin of adaptation. The law of life is that if something doesn't have the ability to survive from the beginning, it dies. And I just want to shout out to one of your guys in chat, John. His name is Raw 5069. I've known him for 8 years, and God bless you, Raw. And let me know if you've heard anything from Rand Campbell. I'll talk to you soon, Raw. Thanks.
What's up, what's up, Jungle? How you doing? And what's up, Wesley? Good to see you guys.
Hello. What's up? John, David Neff wants to debate me on the haplogroups. I don't know if you wanted to. You're not doing any hosting, I guess.
So hold on. Neff wants to debate you on haplogroups. Isn't that like your baby that you do streams about on a regular basis?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. I think there may be a high probability that Neff is a closet masochist. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, maybe, possibly.
I'm talking about from a debate perspective. He likes being punished.
Yeah, but yeah, he does have some intelligence and a lot of knowledge and learning in some areas. So because I already debated him on messianic prophecies, and he's knowledgeable in that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I'm open to hosting. I mean, if you guys want to do it,
he would have to agree to it, but I have to see.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm always, yeah, sure. that would definitely be interesting for sure. There's no doubt about that. Sidebar, everybody. What really always gets me on this whole, like, is it digital, is it not? Like, okay, are you able to think about digital information? Can you create digital information? Can you comprehend it? If so, then obviously you have the ability to store digital information. So the premise of the fundamentals of your life that enable you to exist not being digital is just like oh my goodness, how many times do I have to smash your head against the wall until you figure this out? It's just, it's astonishing. What's up, Wesley? Looks like you got a haircut, man. How you been? How's Chicago?
I've been okay.
You
since some, yeah, it's really warm here. I've got a nice setup here now. Yeah, I just finished sending some of my piano concertos to the former president of the New York Philharmonic Orchestra and Chicago Symphony Orchestra to get his review for my music. Striving to get an orchestra to play my symphonic music is, my general modus operandi. I shut the vision from Jesus on January 4th after 18 years. I'm not going to open it up again. You won't be seeing it again until the last day of time when the nuclear war starts. So,
okay. Well, good luck on getting some of your music reviewed there.
Wow, that's a claim.
Well, one other thing, I did ask Jesus to send everyone the Jews for every day of Hanukkah, the Christians who say they're Christians for 11 days up to Christmas, and those that actively worship Allah or Krishna or Vishnu or Buddha, a powerless froghead demon, all on earth, fish and bread, that anyone would say, thank you, Jesus, could eat the fish and bread for 11 days in a row, and then leave a piece of candy that you didn't have to say thank you for. And I also asked him to heal 2 teeth in everyone's mouth. So
is there?
I didn't know any digital information to have that done, and I don't have a doctor's degree. So, but it was done.
I'm curious. Is there a definition for a Jew? Do you have a definition? A good definition?
Oh, it's very simple. Someone that believes that Jesus Christ is God.
No, a Jew. Oh, Messianic Jew.
A Jew. There is a Jewish secret. Are you Jewish?
Well, that's what I wanted you to define for me. What's Jew? Who's Jewish?
Well, they define it according to a secret that is passed down since the days of Noah, about a man of the earth come to bring peace to the world. That not even the Spanish Inquisition, whom kidnapped or stole away Jewish people and disemboweled them to obtain the secret, no Jew would tell the secret to them. about the man of the earth come to bring peace. He would meet Noah, give Noah a plum, have the dove of God above his head, be able to speak and interpret every language known to mankind, and know the words blend, do not mix. And those were the prerequisites to be the man of the earth, the Jewish man of the earth come to bring peace. I'm him.
So you're
and Jesus is God. So
you're talking about
the modern Hebrews are not Jews. They also had the Godhead Allah, a powerless frog, a frog head, a Darth Kermit. Everyone that had that on their head for a couple of weeks, I revealed it to all mankind. You're worshippers of Allah, pretty much, in various forms.
So you're talking about the true Jews, then, true Jews.
The true Jews are 144,000 children that shall be given to me. And we're going to the Valley of Armageddon after the last day of the 7 years to tell the vision from Jesus and singing songs. We're going to walk across the water on the way to Syria singing the vision. There's 144,000 of them. They are Jewish children from birth. And they have said the words, the prophecies, bad boom, boom, mark of the 10, the black, death, war, Yavol, hell. And they're very loving children. All of them are Jewish, and they are the most friendly, loving, happy, well-settled, normal kids you could ever meet. And they're incredibly intelligent. And they do not use TV, and they do not speak very much. They're not wordy.
Yeah, they're virgins.
Yes, every one of them. They're very young, too. They're very young kids. They're going to be given to my hands and arms, and we're going to fight the good fight against Satan and make it all the way through the 7 years of hell on earth.
Hey, real quick, guys. God is Nowhere's got a question for Jackson. He says, in your recent exchange with LPP, you made a claim that two species lived around the same time while addressing ancestry. How do you know those two lived around the same time?
Radiometric dating, which I know you guys don't like very much, but yeah.
Funny dating.
Radiometric dating. Wait a minute.
How old is the healed tooth in your mouth?
Wesley, hold on. Wesley, let me just do this real quick with this guy. So radiometric dating. When did you learn about radiometric dating, Jackson?
When?
Yeah, how did they prove radiometric dating? When was that accomplished?
A long time ago.
Okay, so you don't know. Do you know how they came up with the dating methods before radiometric dating was invented? Of course not. This is a religion, Jackson. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as dating rocks.
Relative dating.
There's no such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing as dating rocks. They've already admitted it's based on a presupposition. So the flood is what causes fossils. It takes a special event like Noah's flood to create fossils. That's why they are all in separate layers called hydrologic sorting. There's no such thing as radiometric dating. That's why some of the animals that we find fossilized, such as triops and horseshoe crabs, are still alive today. And they're supposed to be the oldest creatures on Earth. They're actually much older than the dinosaurs. They're still alive today. So you don't even have a claim, bro. The animals are still alive. Sorry.
Well, listen, horseshoe crabs are from the Ordovician. They appear in the Ordovician period, which is not the earliest.
No, they don't. Sorry, they're existing now. You don't lie. That's a lie. They're existing now. You don't know the origins of anything. In Darwin's book, he gave zero origins. No, they don't originate anything. It means they died in the flood, and they're still alive today. Triops are still alive today. Actually, coming out of the ground here in northern Arizona. Right now in northern Arizona, they found living triops where they haven't lived for hundreds of years. There was a storm a few months ago. Puddles formed and brought them out of the literal land. They were dormant for literally over a century. That's only possible if they're divinely designed. They're the same. They've been the same supposedly for 500 million years. Yeah, that's called normal reproduction. They haven't changed throughout all of existence. There's no evolution, buddy. You're living in a fairy tale. Period. It's over.
Haven't changed. Unchanged.
All right.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale. You're just trying to hide it from morality, bro. No one's buying it. Get with the times.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I think I should be going
insanity.
now.
Well, appreciate you hanging out with us, Jackson. I think we're right at 2 hours. I think I may wrap it up here in a couple minutes. But Jackson, you're always welcome. Appreciate you coming in. Hopefully, you will see another. Let's see if you and Hovind get going again. It'll be what round 4, right?
Yeah.
Well, that should be an interesting one for sure. Right. So, folks, I appreciate
the fourth one.
Yeah, fourth one, right?
I do like debating Hovind. Yeah. Yeah.
You like those old dogs, I know. You won't want to take on somebody new, Jackson. So yeah, stick with Hovind.
Oh man, we got some fire. We got some fire brewing. Is there going to be an EXO of the RO versus Jackson Rowe debate? Is that what's going to be coming up?
No, I'll just peel him off of my shoe and put him in the trash can. He's done.
All right. Well, everybody, I in the audience appreciate you guys hanging out this long with us and for the good old back and forth for 2 hours. Thanks everyone on the panel for coming in and sharing your thoughts and making it interesting and keeping things lively. As I always say, as we approach the end of these things, I guess we'll have some short last words. Keep it 30 seconds, and then we'll wrap up, and then I'll do my last words, and we'll call it tonight. But Wesley, what's up? 30 seconds. Go, man. How you doing?
You'll be tempted, all of you, with a counterfeit $32,000 to be branded with a barcode called the Omnibar. I hope that you'll tell the vision. You'll get fish and bread free from Jesus, and you won't need to eat the Chinese salty human flesh that they'll try to convince you is cattle. It's not. It's if you take the Omnibar, you're going to get a skin disease, and you're going to die on the day I turn Mecca to dust. Your choice.
All right, we'll definitely keep on the lookout. Jungle, you got any last words?
Yeah, I can't top that.
I don't think anybody can. Jungle.
Oh, LPP,
Nobody
let me
can.
do this.
I mean,
let me top it.
I used to be able to, but not anymore. I don't know.
All right. Real quick, Jungle, are you number one, are you still playing it safe and hanging out in Missouri, or have you gone back to the Northeast Madness? Have you sold your house, and are you still being an electrician, or have you actually decided to stay retired?
Yeah, I'm still in Missouri, and I haven't sold my house yet. It's under, I have a lease for another year or so, yeah. And I'm still an electrician working for my neighbor.
Okay. So, folks, if you don't know this, so Jungle is retired airplane mechanic. He escaped the madness of, I remember you were in Jersey, right? Yeah. And then he's got land out on a lake in Missouri. He went down there, was hanging out, driving around in his equipment and all this kind of stuff, flattening out properties. Anyway, then he decides, yeah, I'm retired, but hey, why don't I become an electrician, given the fact that the end of the world is coming, and I might as well be a mechanic and an electrician after the apocalypse, and then he'll be the most valuable person in Missouri. I know I'm not saying that Jungle actually was thinking this. I'm making up the story. However, it's what's happening.
Yeah, I was wondering how you're doing over there in Tennessee. What is it? Right, Tennessee, right?
Yeah. Well, it's fine. I mean, we're relatively sane. All the madness is starting to return a little bit here in Nashville, but it's mostly okay.
Yeah,
but it's mostly okay. I mean, way different than some parts of the country for sure. But
no exploding buses or anything lately. No.
We haven't had. Well, that was no exploding RVs. Yeah, we survived this. We survived this Christmas. Yeah. It was kind of crazy. It's actually kind of interesting. The exploding RV basically got no. Even though we just had the anniversary of it, there was basically zero coverage. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody really talked about the fact that Second Avenue got blown up with a crazy. Yeah, that was some.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, that was pretty. I'll tell you what, watching the video of that is pretty nuts. I mean, and there was like a speaker. The dude had a loudspeaker on, telling people that the street's gonna blow up in a couple of, like, doing a countdown timer. Hey, we're about to blow up. We better leave. And of course, the conspiracy theories are everywhere, because the building that it was parked in front of was actually a server farm.
Telecommunications or something.
Yeah, whatever I thought it was like. There's like a huge AT&T, like their sub headquarters or whatever is like right around the corner. But what got blown up wasn't the AT&T skyscraper; it was their AT&T server house and a telecommunications hub with also the fiber going through it. And of course, all those conspiracy theories are like, oh yeah, there was like deep state information stored on the servers in there, and yada yada yada, which wouldn't actually necessarily be false, or I'd say it totally being true. But unfortunately, it's a hardened facility, so basically it didn't get blown up. Everything on the other side of the street did. So, yeah, it basically didn't. It basically didn't touch the building he was trying to blow up, and it just like annihilated all these other buildings on the other side of the street and down the street. But anyway, Alec, welcome back, man. You got any last words?
No, other than those virus things. I did have a look at those, and those are computer animations, bro. They're not straight from a microscope or anything. That's what they normally do, is take computer animations. What I did with marketing when I did my CGI stuff and everything else for billboards and whatnot. You just take something and you make it something different. That's all the CDC is doing.
Yeah, she's saying they're just rendering.
But yeah, my battery image. Yeah, rendered image.
Gotcha.
That's all it is. But it's not even a black and white. It's not that. It's kind of like what NASA does with certain things, and they even say it on their website that they enhance and they
now you're talking
imagination.
Okay, guys, I think I'm looking at side chat, and it looks like we may have something. I don't know what's about to happen, but
Kevin's biblical.
Kevin says he's about to go off on somebody. So, Kevin,
Wesley. No one listens to this guy. He's a slithering snake, scumbag, false prophet, is what he is. You don't even understand the 144,000 are, you liar. God isn't speaking to you in dreams. The gift of prophecy has been sealed up. You're a liar. You're a false prophet.
Yeah.
Heretic.
Yeah, well, I'll be the last liar standing on this.
You don't even know what the
you're long
144,000
dead, hanging out in the street with a dead gray corpse with an omnibar on your wrist.
Oh, with a dead gray corpse and the omnibar.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't even know what a Jew is.
I feel so dumb now.
You liar.
What I told your secret, you don't like it, blend, do not mix.
During the time of Jacob's trouble, you don't even know what that is, do you?
Blend, do not mix came from Jesus.
Yeah, but apparently you're so special.
Jews hate that because it's the secret.
There's going to be
it's
nuclear
the
war
thing
in
they
4 years.
pass down from father to son since the days of Noah, and none ever wrote it on paper, and none ever told it to anyone
so you
but
have
another
special
Jew.
Revelation, right?
Well, it's your shield if you're Jewish, and I just broke it.
You have
Because
special
you're not a
revelation,
Jew.
right? So
Look,
God's revealing new
you
scripture.
saw what I'm going to do. You saw I'm going to fall the Chinese army. You saw I'm going to fall the Taliban and turn Mecca to dust. Go get your Omnibar. Go get your 32 grand and go eat your human flesh and die on the day I turn Mecca to dust. So what? Then your words will mean nothing.
Are you
the
absolutely
stink of
insane?
people's nose that they make now.
Sir, are you on medication, sir?
Look, you want war, kid. Go get it.
Are you on medication, sir? Please take your pills.
I'm not going to answer your senile question.
You're not a prophet. God hasn't revealed special revelation to you. You don't have
authority. Yes, he has, kid.
You're on the office of the prophet.
No, I'm a teacher, and I heard the prophets, and they're going to be given to me.
Your dad is.
Well, I think you're upset because you know I speak the truth, and you hate the truth. You've got two teeth in your mouth because of my prayer.
You shut your lying mouth.
Bread because of my prayer, but you didn't eat it.
Can you fix my back tooth, Wesley?
A powerless Darth Kermit.
You worship Allah, you said?
Your God is Darth Kermit, kid.
Really?
You,
so the
can
Lord
you heal
Jesus
my-
Christ is Kermit. Is that right?
Can you heal my type 1 diabetes, please? I've had it for 42 years. I'm getting sick of it. Can you heal that, please?
I can't listen.
As soon as
John,
you say we're
sorry,
going to have
John,
last
I can't-
words, then 2 or
I
3 people
can't
join the
stand-
argument.
You're playing yan. You don't want to listen.
No. You come in here claiming that you're a prophet, that God has given you special revelation and visions.
You
and you're
said
saying
that.
all
I
these
never said I'm a prophet.
And you're twisting scripture. You don't even understand what the 144,000 is. You're not a prophet.
He is making
You're not
some
even learned in
prophetic
the word.
claims,
You're a
yeah.
moron.
Pal, I am scripture.
Okay, that's kind of cringy right there. That's weird.
You're the
bro.
word of God, huh? You're scripture.
I am the little book in Revelations. I am the second
Wesley,
in
this guy
Leviticus.
is
Wesley, you might be overdoing it.
This guy's a
You're
moron.
Gog.
This
You're
guy is
end men.
This is
Hey,
You're
Kevin, I
not.
think this guy hit his head on the diving board going down.
I tell you
bro.
what, we meet together. You come at me and try to hit me, and you
this
fall
guy-
on your face dead
this
for
guy needs
trying
to
to
take
touch
his
me without my
medication.
I think
permission.
Alex and
Go
I should
ahead.
argue now just
This
to
guy
even it out.
escaped
Oh yeah, the
delusion,
old medication. You know,
and
the
he hasn't
silly
been taking
drunk
his pills.
chicks in the bars use that one too. You can't get laid.
Shut up, you
I was
false
fine with
prophet, lying
everything until he
scumbag
said that
snake.
I'm going to have 144,000
Blend, do
children. That
not
started to really make
mix,
me wonder.
boy.
I will school you. You call
That's
me a
terrible,
boy.
Wesley.
You're
Oh my
not
goodness.
going to touch me.
You
On
are
the last
spiritually
day,
dead.
4 cops are going to
You have no
fall
life
dead
in
at
you.
This
You're
is
a
night.
what the
liar.
people
You're
want
the
to know,
father of the
Johnson.
devil.
Good job. Let's
You've
let it roll
seen
out.
it. You know what I speak is going to happen, and you're starting to get scared.
You're of your
think
father,
you
the
think
same
it's
serpent, the devil.
You should be
You're a false
extremely
prophet. You're a
scared
lying
right
moron.
now. But no, you're going to
Take
party
your
on,
pills.
eat, drink,
Get
and
out of
be
here.
merry. For
Get out of here
tomorrow
with
we
your false
die.
prophecies. No one wants to hear you, liar. Get out of here, you heretic.
Go get a
Get out of
book
here.
on how to speak
Go somewhere.
Chinese so you'll be able to talk to your
Go speak
captors.
Chinese. Take your meds, moron.
Yeah,
You have
right.
half a brain.
Wow.
You think people are dumb enough to believe your stupid false prophecies?
You mean the
You
fishing
ignore the
rod
word
I
of
asked
God,
to be
huh?
sent to you?
Oh, so we have the
Everyone was
living
sent.
word of God
Everyone
in
on
the
earth.
flesh here, people. We got a
Oh
second
well, no,
Messiah.
everyone didn't say thank you, Jesus. That's one of the reasons why you are
Real
all
quick,
going
okay,
to be
hey,
put into the
real
hell.
quick, what's his name? Biblical
So what?
discussions. Let me ask Wesley
I'll
something.
come visit
Wesley,
you
do you
in
hear me?
jail, kid.
Wesley, 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
Do you hear me, Wesley?
Yes, I do.
Wesley, this is the XO. I'm going to ask you something real quick. In Joshua 10,
Sure.
12 through 14, do you know where the sun and moon stopped over which particular cities in Joshua?
I am not biblically memorizing. The little book
Okay.
is the book
But
All
you're
right.
the
So hold
word
on.
of
Okay.
God, right?
Okay. Never mind
You're
then.
the word
Okay.
of God.
That is
Hold
correct.
on 1 second.
I sure
Okay,
am.
biblical. I just want to. I'm okay. We'll move on past that. What do you think that
You're
going
the
to do with
word
the
of
100?
dumbass.
1 second, Wesley. What do you think that you're going to do? What's to be accomplished with the 144,000 children?
We're going to the Valley of Megiddo. Satan will try to bombard them with nuclear bombs like flies, swarms of flies.
Okay.
We're going to sing the vision from Jesus and not be harmed.
Right, but what would you have to do with them? Because you're not a virgin, and obviously you're not that young. So why would you be there?
Because in the Bible it is written, I'm the Prince of Israel. You've seen how I'm going to do
Are you
it.
sure? But
You
how
know
could the
it's
Prince
true.
of
You know
wait?
I'm the
This
one
guy
that's
is
going
a
to
Okay,
learn
blasphemer.
them.
wait,
How
hold on.
dare
Look,
you?
you
Biblical.
don't
I
let
know.
me
dare
speak
Fine.
you?
one time
Let's
without
just get some
interrupting,
sense.
so
Wesley,
don't pretend
Wesley,
like you
stop.
want
Can
to
you talk to
know
me, Wesley?
anything.
Fool.
I know.
All you do
Biblical.
is
Wait,
interrupt. Go
Wesley, can you
ahead
listen?
You're a
and vomit
blasphemer.
and
You
eat
shut your
Wesley,
your
heretic
okay.
mouth
vomit, kid.
and
Okay,
you get out of
biblical.
here.
Biblical
You get
discussions.
saved and get out of here.
Biblical. Biblical though. Kevin's just watch. So, Wesley,
Hey,
what
Kevin,
part
the
of the
vision's
Bible you're
shut.
saying? You're in
The
the
next time
Bible.
you have it, you'll be in hell.
Wesley, you're saying, but
I'll come visit
you're
you in
saying that a
jail,
nuclear.
Kevin.
You're saying
Okay?
man controls the end, though. You're saying man's weapons are going to destroy the world.
There is not one word out of any of your mouths that is anything that I have said.
I know. I'm asking you a question, Wesley. I didn't accuse you. I'm asking you about the nuclear weapons you were talking about.
The wheel, the color of beryl in Ezekiel is a nuclear bomb.
Okay, I think you might want to. You might want to get some translations for that. Because I
Yeah,
don't believe
except
that.
I met the guys that built it in Chicago.
Right. Well, I used to be a 19 kilo. I worked for the Department of Defense, and you'll be surprised. Those weapons aren't what they tell you. Sorry. It's called compartmentalization.
Yeah, okay.
It's not going to work out for you, but I'm sorry. There's not going to be any nuclear war. Jesus is going
Look,
to
you
decide.
don't even recognize fish and bread given by angels
not gonna
made
be- okay.
reality on your table
Wesley?
11 days in a row. So don't tell me you know
Okay,
anything
Wesley,
about
I think
reality.
you might have
son.
overdone it. So I'm going to pray for you, Wesley. I
No,
think you might
fish
have
and
an
bread,
issue.
I asked you to get it. You can't even say
All All right,
thank
Wesley.
you. Your bad manners are going to get you in jail, kid.
All right, Wesley. I'll wait for
And
John
you
to come
know
back,
it.
Wesley. But yeah, you don't understand the scriptures. Yeah. It's not
Come
going to work
back
for
in
you,
a
bro.
month.
I
It'll
am the
be,
scriptures,
it'll be a
punk.
different story.
I
man.
am
You are
the
not
book
the
of books and
scriptures. Stop
Revelation.
blaspheming,
The
man.
one sweet as honey and
Get
the
out of here.
and
Someone
bitter in your
bless the
belly.
moron.
You
Right
go
now,
back a
Raw
month, it'll be a
5069
different
can't
What
believe
was
that
story.
I'm
the
the most
manna that
sane
fell
sounding
from heaven
person in
for
the
the?
room. He's shocked right now.
Look,
What was
I
the
would
Okay,
manna
go read
that fell from
Revelation.
I
heaven?
asked you
Go
to
to
go
the
fishing,
144,000
Brad. You
people.
said no.
Jungle
Okay.
Jargon is shocked.
Go
Jungle
get an
Jargon's like, I cannot
omnibar.
believe it. The
Go
Echo is the
get your
most sane sounding person in the room.
$32,000. Go
gentlemen.
get your
Okay, gentlemen.
32,000
Okay,
counterfeit
Wesley, calm down.
cryptocurrency. No
Wesley,
cash.
Wesley,
No
Wesley,
cash.
calm down.
Only electronic money. 32 grand. Go get it. And go get
Okay.
that
A broken clock.
omnibar.
Okay, we got a
Go
Tom. We
get
got a
it.
broken clock
And
moment.
Get out of
enjoy
here,
the
you false prophet.
Broken
serenity.
clock moment.
Leave.
The
John,
Don't
he's
come
right
back
about
serenity
until
one
you
and
thing.
saved.
peace as you
John,
stand in
Don't come back
line
until you get saved.
trying to.
Okay.
hold on,
Wesley.
Kevin.
Okay,
He's
guys.
right about one
Everybody
thing.
calm
Cryptocurrency
down.
is bad, kids. Please stay away from it. Other than that, though, Wesley, yes, you need to get some help bad quickly. Thanks.
You got
Okay.
problems, man. You're a liar and you know it.
Okay. Well,
Thank you,
as I
Kevin.
said, ladies and
Scumbag.
gentlemen, this was guaranteed to turn into
How
a
dare you
dumpster
come
fire.
in here and claim to be the word of God, insulting my Lord?
Yeah, that's bad,
Okay,
Wesley. That's a
everybody,
no-no.
everybody calm
Get
down.
Kevin on that.
Guys, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. So we almost made it all the way until the very end to closing statements.
John, who is this clown? Who is this heretic?
Before dumpster fire meltdown. Okay, listen, he's a special person, and I'd let him talk occasionally. Okay, in order to keep him under control. You guys got a little.
He's claiming to be the word of God. He's claiming to be Jesus Christ.
Listen,
this is not okay, man. This is I'm angry, man.
Wesley has some issues. He has some mental problems. He's on some medication, and he admits it. And he goes on occasional tangents, and then sometimes comes back to normal. So you just have to be. He is somebody who needs. I'm not saying I'm accepting what he says. I'm not saying what he says is correct or that it is not wrong. At the same time, Wesley has issues. Okay, so we can't just all go off in the same context as we would with.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I just thought this was some old guy coming here trying to, be a snake.
No.
I want to know if Wesley would feel better if they kept the lithium and the 7-Up.
No, I think you don't take the listen, Alec. Don't take the
right.
cap off the jar of worms again. Don't. What do you do? Don't come on. Now, real quick, somebody in the chat did reference me, but yeah, I'll just tell him, John, that my channel is the XO of the RO, which is the one that's in LPP's chat right now. My other channel is Blood Always Finds Its Level. And I go back. Some of these people have known me for a while. I've known Jungle Jargon for probably 7-8 years now. But yeah, I'm a lone wolf, so sorry. Yeah, but my last words, I'll just get this out of the way, John. The word of God is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
Amen.
Period. Thanks for playing.
Amen.
Amen.
Yep.
All right. Kevin, you got any last words since you're here?
Yeah, sorry about that, John. I didn't know this guy was mentally ill. I was just, well, I mean, it's obvious looking at him now, but I don't know. I was just getting angry because this guy was saying all sorts of blasphemous stuff, and I was like, this ain't gonna fly with me, man. So,
no, I get that. I get that. Alec, you got any last words?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I'm glad my battery got full just for that. Yes, that was a happy moment. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I think we will call it a wrap at this point, and I want to express my appreciation for everybody who made it through this, made it all the way to the dumpster fire. I had people messaging me telling me like, "Where is the fire, John? I've come and gone, I've bounced in and out, and it's just been you guys have been talking about boring stuff. They'll start to get a little energy, and then it dies, and then I can't say anymore, and then." What happens? We're closing down. We're at last words. And then we have another 30 minutes of explosion. The fire arrived. An after show of a Hovind debate is not finished until there is a dumpster fire that has exploded. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate all those in the side chat, the super chatters and the members and everybody. Thank you guys so much. We greatly appreciate that. And as we wrap up, as I always say at the end of these things, as you contemplate the different aspects of your existence, the elements and all the different pieces of evidence that can lead you to a ultimate conclusion about the fundamentals of your existence, make sure that the conclusion that you reach is logical, plausible, and, as I always say, probable. And with that, have a good night, folks.